Poetry reflects society. Art reflects the people that exist within the society. What are the things that bother you the most that you write about?
Dag. A couple of things. Recently, in my new writings, honesty, dishonesty, because one thing I detest is a liar.
Wait, you detest a liar. Honesty is something that you attack.
No, sorry.
America.
No, I said I changed it. I said dishonesty because I said honesty first, and I said dishonesty.
But this is America. That's what the country's built on.
That don't mean I like her.
Tell me, explain.
What you mean?
Well, let's get into it. I mean,
Okay.
America is the great whore that rides on the 10-headed dragon of Babylon with the horns and the cup and the goblet. And
You know what America did for me? Yesterday, America sent me a student loan bill that I'm in debt.
That you can beat, though.
How? Tell me
we're
how.
talking about off camera.
Okay.
We don't get that for free. They have to come to the office for that.
Ooh, okay. Anyway.
But you can beat that. But America is built on dishonesty, distrust, evil, lust, concupiscence, envy, greed. But it's also built on music, poetry, song, sculpture, paraphrase. Poetry is a part of that. And part of the dynamic of being American is understanding, as the RZA put in the song, the red is for the blood, the blue is for the Crips, the white is for the police officers, and the 50 stars are for what you see after they beat you in the head with their clubs. That's poetic. Hip hop has been poetic because it's painted the picture of the inner city and how people were going through hell. Coogee Rap, who people don't talk about too much in hip hop unless you're a real hip hop fan. Coogee Rap made a song called "The Streets of New York," and that song was poetic because he talked about a woman who was tired of living and she took sleeping pills. A woman was tired of getting beat by her husband, so she picked up a knife and slashed him. A young man who needed money, sold drugs, and somebody tried to beat him, and he pulled out a gun and said, "Listen, you gonna buy these drugs or you gonna leave me alone?" Either way. Hip hop has turned into the outcry and the expression of the inner city to now the most popular form of expression in the world that talks about barely anything. Why do you think the words resonate just as much as the music? Because we always hear people say, "I listen to the beat," but when you listen to the words, you get a deeper appreciation. Why are the words important?
Words are important because that's that's what connects you between the art or the artist and the feeling that they're trying to get you to feel, basically. Because I mean, music, I love a good beat just as the next person, you know, but I get a different feeling when I'm listening to Migos versus when I'm listening to Lauryn Hill. The words are different, so you get a different feeling. You don't, yeah.
But words carry spirits, just like you said, context. Because if I said, "I love you," and you'd be like, "Oh, he loves me." And like I said, "I love you," I'm like, "What the fuck you yelling at me for?" You know what I'm saying? So the words and the spirits behind the words are what give the words clarity. It gives the words punctuality. It gives it emotional response as well. As a poet, what's more important to you? No, you know what? I'll change that. What hits you more, the written word or the spoken word? And for you yourself, since you are an author and you perform.
Spoken word.
Okay, so then as a spoken word poet, what is more important for you? The understanding of what's said or the delivery for the understanding? Because some people you talk to and they look at you like you eating candy. They just watch your mouth.
Yeah, I think it's the understanding and not just the delivery, because I know people who, and it's kind of, I don't know, because to me, understanding and delivery sort of go hand in hand. Because like I said, I'm a very nervous person, so if you haven't noticed, sometimes I tend to talk fast, But when I'm performing poetry, I try not to talk fast because I want you to hear what I'm saying. Opposed to, you know, some other people when they just go and they just da 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 da, and it's just like, well, I know it rhymed, but what'd you say again?
Right.
And so, I mean, I think delivery is great, but I think your delivery should cater to the understanding of the words, because if people don't know what you're saying, then you kind of just wasted your time.
So then let's talk about the 2 books that you have. How different is it to express in written form, and what is the goal of an author poet rather than a spoken word poet? You're comfortable now, by the way.
I mean, I'm comfortable in what I know. And that's the thing about me. Like, I definitely know I need to research more and learn more about my area of artistry. But for me, when I originally write poems, while I'm writing it, I already know if, you know, like this is gonna be a performance piece. I already know that. Or I can look at it and I'll be like, I'm not gonna perform this one, this is just for people to read. But I also have performance pieces in my book for you to read. So like, when I did my first book, and I had my book signing for my first book, I performed poems for my book. I didn't, you know, just some, select few. And I had people come up to me afterwards and they're like, oh, like, you know, I love this so much more after you performed it. You know, it made so much more sense after you performed it. And when I had first started and I was in that moment, I'm like, okay, because I didn't understand that. But now, being on book number 2, I got the understanding of what they were saying. And basically, how can I explain it? Like, now I try to write, I try to give the reader I try to put my voice inside the reader's head, if that sort of makes sense. So I try to write the poem exactly how I would say it if it's a performance piece. And
you try to be grammatically correct when you write instead of being expressionist when you write. Okay, I got it.
Yeah. You know, and then I try to even, like, where the expression should be, like, I try to put expression, like, exclamation points or whatever, like the little dramatical pause, the 3 dots, like, I try to resemble it to how it would be if I was to perform it. But even still, like, it doesn't always translate to the same thing, because, you know, I can perform one poem one day, and then the next day I'll be in a different mindset and perform it a different type of way. You know what I'm saying? But
which is dope. That's organic expression.
But then that's another thing that I like about poetry also, because one thing I always say about poetry is very interpretive. So however I write it and however I read it, you may read it and write it. I mean, you may read it and think of it, you know, a different way than how I originally did it, just because that's your perspective of the piece.
That's how rock music is. U2 made a song called, what is it called? I can't remember, so I apologize for even bringing it up because I look stupid now. But it has exit. U2 exit. When you read the words and the performance of the song, it hits you 2 different ways. And it's like, I didn't see that. But then when you hear it, it's like, I don't see that. So the written word and the spoken word do matter equally. But here's the problem. You ever heard of the Reichstag?
The what is it?
The Reichstag.
No.
If I'm saying it right. The Reichstag is in Germany, where Hitler and the Nazis basically took all the books out of the libraries and they burned them.
Oh, yeah. They made a book off of that.
Now, they made a book off of it. Well, we're seeing it happen right now in our country. And what it is the movement from books to social media and electronics. And me and my partner say this all the time, because we heard it from another person as well. If you cut the internet off, where's your hip hop? Are you still hip hop when you don't have your phone or your tablet? That's why it's important for you to buy the music, because you own it, it's yours. And with books, it's important to own a book, physically read a book, turn a page. I hated books when I was younger, because when I smelled the paper, I got sleepy. I couldn't take it. But as an older gentleman, I understand the point. Yeah, paper stink. I'm telling you. But the thing about it is, when you were able to feel and hold the book, it had something, it had a different feeling and message to it because it was yours.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? In history, when people did not write, they had oral stories. You know what I'm saying? I want to touch on that too before this part ends. The point I'm trying to get to is we see the era of the book kind of fading. Even with comic book movies, people don't want to read the stories, they just want to watch the movie. And that takes away from the original premise of the story itself. Why do you write and not just perform? Why is the writing important to you as well?
Well, I want to side note real quick. We saw this coming when they went from regular newspaper to online news, but that was just my little side note. But I write books. Well, okay, it's two pieces. One, I just like having something that is actually mine, like that I made and it has my face on it and my name. Just makes me feel good. But also, when I first started writing, I said I want to have gray matter in everyone's home, and I meant that like physically the book, because you can't. First of all, you can't have a book signing with audiobook. There won't be anything to sign.
You know what? That's very interesting that you said that. No, really, because audio books used to come as books, but they were tapes inside of a book. Now, you just have SoundCloud. And I'm not signing your damn computer screen or your tablet or anything, because you'll kick my ass, because I destroyed something. So that physical representation of who you are still matters to you. But society's telling people that doesn't matter anymore. So then why do it?
I mean, do it because one, I can, because I still believe in books. I don't read as often as I should, but I still believe in books and having the physical hard copy. Even though I am a millennial, I'm not all about my phone, so I don't, the whole ebook thing, like that's not even my whole jazz. Like it's just what I prefer. And since it's what I prefer, that's just what I did. Now, I have had a lot of people talk to me about doing an audiobook, and I'm giving it some slight consideration, but for that audiobook, I will still be releasing a regular book just because it makes me feel better. I appreciate it. And I think this technological advance is starting to make me feel old.
Yeah, I applaud you, because there's a rhetoric that goes on where if you want to hide something from a person of color, you put it in a book, which is a lie. Because a lot of people do read. You know what I'm saying? It's just the stuff that we read has to be effectual. It has to be meaningful. Like when I was in school, when it came to poetry, not to go, we're going to just keep it on topic. I had to learn the Canterbury Tales. Do you think I gave a damn about old English?
I remember that too.
But if you gave me the autobiography of Malcolm X, now we're talking. If you gave me Ivan Sertima before Columbus, you know what I'm saying? They were black or something. If you give me Illuminati 666, Dr. Francis Cress Welling, the ISIS Papers, when you gave me stuff like that, William Cooper, Behold the Pale Horse, you gave me something. And when you deliver a book to a person, not only is it supposed to capture their mind, it's also to inspire their creative juice, their creative thought. So here's my last question. Inspiring thought is the lost art of society. Why is it important for somebody to just sit down and think sometimes instead of just react and speak?
It's funny you said that too, because I have this app on my phone called CoStar, and it's an astrology app. I'm not sure if anyone's into that. But for my horoscope today, it said, try to control your impulses. And so... Wait, you gotta stop letting me go on sidebars. I'm sorry.
No, that's good. Come on.
Question.
No, you're talking about the impulses, right?
Yes.
So thinking. Why is it important?
Why is it important to think? Yes, thank you. Because, first of all, your mind is your most important tool. That's one thing that at least my generation, they taught us that all the time. Your mind is your most important tool. Again, if you don't think, You don't know. Because if you're not thinking, then I'm thinking there's just serious ignorance, basically. Because you're not thinking, and you're purposely not thinking. So you purposely don't want to learn, or don't want to expand your mind past what it is, basically. So I definitely think it's important to sit down and think, especially now in this time where, you know, everything is at the end of our fingertips. You know, even the internet, Google, thousands of information, books, and for someone to not be able to just sit down and just think, I don't know, to me it means, you know, you don't care about your society, you don't care about your well-being, your mind, you just walk through life like a zombie, basically.